So today is the day the Senate is commencing their half of the impeachment trial with a mercury at 29 degrees 48 minutes. What that means is the very, very last few minutes of mercury at the most intense degree were in place at the midheaven at the moment of Justice Roberts being signed in. I have been thinking for at least 3 weeks over this Saturn-Pluto conjunction, which I've talked about many times. What is going on right now in our world? What is that Saturn-Pluto, which has only been a conjunction in Capricorn once in the last 500 years. So it's a monumental shift of the crystallized structure of our thoughts, even our physical bodies, our earth, and all of its inhabitants. And we've seen this chaos emerging day by day, more and more chaos, more and more anger, more intensification, I'm right, you're wrong. Even within families, more discord. So I wanted to get to the gut level of discord and what's going on in America right now. Because take the Congress, they ran with the ball, they felt they were right, they had their reasons, but each aspect of the government, whether it's Donald Trump, whether it's the Senate, or whether it's Congress, each function is going to have to let go of what the other part is doing. You can only in this life, whether it's your own personal life and you're going through stress and chaos and suffering and discord, all you can do is take the control of how you react to life. Everything else is out of your hands, out of my hands. My wishing things to be different will not make it so. Things will unfold and evolve in exactly the right moment they're supposed to. So there's Saturn. I want to hold this structure the way it is. My thinking is right, yours is wrong. I want to set that tone and have it remain as it's always been. Nothing in our world since that conjunction is going to remain as it was, nor is it going to disintegrate and be rebuilt into what it was. It's disintegrating beyond our control, which is causing us immense frustration and fear and feeling of being at the mercy of life, of the politicians, of the bankers, of our husband or wife, of our children. There's a feeling of helplessness and exhaustion that has been created by Pluto to break down our thought processes and bring us into a state. Just one sec, I gotta let the dog go. Flower. That kind of epitomizes everything I'm saying about things being beyond our control. because I thought I had a quiet moment to create the video, and of course that's the moment she wants out. But that is what's going on right now, is that there's this plutonic, scorpionic crushing of the way the world is set up, the value systems are set up, the way people treat each other, the wars, the famines, the ecological trauma, the fires, which are very symbolic of Pluto. Pluto has been described not as a frozen planet, but as triple fire, because its intensity is so great and so profound that everything that we held to be true is no longer able to be held in that same format. So Pluto's ultimate gift is the immolation of all that is for the rebirth to come. And I was reading today that even in the beautiful rainforests of Australia that were burnt to a crisp, they're seeing the sprouting of new plants and new seedlings coming through the earth. A sign of new life in the midst of horrific destruction. So I was looking at Facebook the other day, and I saw this amazing quote by Rumi, and it said, "Out beyond our ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field, and I will meet you there." And I've been thinking on that one phrase for the last month. Where did I get all my ideas of wrongdoing and right doing? And what makes me right and everyone else wrong, or vice versa? What makes one party right and another party wrong is not the party that is bringing forth the shadow of a country or of our world or of our own persona, is not that negative vibration creating a foil for the rebirth of a positive vibration. In other words, all that we see outside of us as we sit on our throne of judgment to everybody else, Saturn, is being challenged by the fact that our true self, our essence of being, is part of all of that that is existing outside of us. It is a fragment of the whole. Just like the human body could be healthy in all respects and have cancer in the breast or diabetes in the pancreas. And yet the rest of the body, the eyes or the feet or the hands or the brain, could be functioning well. But that cancerous way of being, we only recognize when it's brought out into our sight, into our knowing, into our knowledge of its existence, so that we can then go within our own soul and examine what is the essence of truth, what is wisdom, what is love. And that's where I feel that Rumi is meeting, in that field of love and divine wisdom. I was thinking today, discord is not a natural state. Love is a natural state. Being wise in our true self and seeking out the essence of truth is our natural state, natural being, essential. So right now we are exacerbating the discord by being self-righteous in our own beliefs and our own truths. It does not mean that we would not go out and try to right what we feel is inhumane or in violation of love. But we also need to take a step back and understand the purpose of, especially when I'm feeling America, the purpose of why all of this occurred. Because it was all existing before we had a president who encouraged the more negative expression of our ego. It was all existing, the racism, the selfishness, the materialism, the lack of true concern for our environment, the horrific labs toward the creatures for the sake of finding cures for humanity or a new beauty product. All of these so-called evils were existing before and have always been. Look at our economy. Look at the wars that are existing on our earth that have not been eradicated since the beginning of mankind. It's just been war upon war upon war. Look at our defense budget. We are a country that is run on massive military spending. That's our number one industry. So everything, this idea that Bernie has about a revolution it's kind of symbolic in a way of our inner revolution of cleaning our own self and really examining our capacity for honoring each person's right to be who they are and to be free, and also calling upon our love nature to have mercy for all of life, for all people, for all belief systems, for all expressions. We can't just crush one thing because it doesn't agree with us and be kind and merciful and generous to something because it's in agreement with us. That is basically a tribal concept. And unity is not tribal. So I had written down, nothing is sacred and everything is sacred. And that in this past year, each of us has been split in one form or another. We have become hypersensitized to the fact that nothing feels permanent, that everything is constantly changing, and everything always has been constantly changing and going through metamorphosis, but not at the speed that it is now, which is knocking us all over the board. Our values have been challenged. Everything has felt uncertain. We have felt shocked, horrified by the inhumane acts of others which exist around us. And I hope that we are and have, through Pluto's influence, seriously re-examined our own negative indoctrinations, our discordant friendships, the belief systems of our parents, which may no longer resonate with us. So we are, in a way, we're being called to stretch and stretch and stretch beyond all of society's imprints and let go. And we cringe I cringe at my own patterning of out of control reactionary responses. I'm shocked by myself that things can get under my skin when I'm working so hard and aspiring so hard to be merciful, loving, kind, wise, and I feel that for all of us, our triggers have been majorly triggered. So we have name called and we have blasphemed against the blasphemers. We're mostly, I think, too, because we're tired, we're shaken, we're fatigued, we feel defensive, and most of all, I think we feel really vulnerable right now. So this decade, which has passed from a spiritual perspective, has created within us, this last 10 years, has created within us an inner earthquake, and every year it's gotten faster and faster. The plates within our being have shifted. We felt left standing on shaking ground and nothing felt permanent. All felt somehow beyond our control, and I want to say it is beyond our control. We have no control over anything except how we react. We've blamed it on leaders, on politicians, on the other. So our choice has been either to distract ourselves more from the chaotic stirring that's taking place all over the planet, or to seek within ourselves a rehabilitation of our old self through tossing away now, this isn't working for me anymore. I need to go deeper. I need to go to my true self. I need to be still. I need to listen. And I've said many times out loud, I just can't take this anymore. I'm sure all of you have felt this way. And we're being asked over and over, you just gotta let go, let go, let go. So in many ways, I feel it's been like a planetary dark night of the soul. But all the stripping away has a good intention lurking in the background. There are glimmers of light, new horizons that are glowing and beckoning to us. The good news is that the decade to come will relate. What my message was is that it will relate to self-empowerment, to individual self-empowerment, to planetary restoration, and to spiritual reemergence in its truest sense through the understanding of oneness. I find it interesting that people call themselves Christian or another faith that is supposed to be aligned with kindness and forgiveness, and yet completely forget the story of the Good Samaritan who picked up somebody out of the gutter that was considered to be a pariah. Are we doing that? Are we going out in society and helping to pick people up that are in that state? I've sure been called upon to do that. To pick up people that everybody else has ignored, discarded, judged. The soul is calling out to us loud and clear. If need be, leave everything behind, even the gurus, if their words no longer split open your heart to all of life. Leave behind the idea of being immersed in indoctrinations of people that you think know better, including me. If something I say doesn't resonate with you, throw it out. Yes, read the words of the wise, contemplate their wisdom, let their light shine into your shadowy parts. But let go of accepting as gospel truth what everyone says. Some days I see things happening in our government and I want to plaster my page with a fury. And then I realize people come to my page for restoration, for hope, for gut level sharing, for kindness, for understanding. I'm not always that, but I aspire to offer that. I'm trying to cut the chains of my own limited thoughts. Today, I looked at myself and I thought, you just lost your temper today, royally. And you're talking about peace, you know. It's like the greatest teachers are not seeking followers. And myself as a type of teacher at times, I'm not seeking to guide you as someone that knows better. The greatest teachers have walked through the fire of their own self-immolation, have purified to such a degree that they don't see any separation between you and me. They see you as a reflection of me. So I haven't reached that place yet. I still have days where I'm definitely not in that space, but I'm aspiring to go to that space, to reach that space before I leave this form. And we need to drop the idea that people are doing things to us. And I guess rather than looking at humanity with a bad, jaundiced eye, with an eye like, oh, humanity, I'm trying to see it now as a merciful parent would view the bad actions of a misbehaving child. I'm trying to observe acts that people are doing and slow down and listen and try to figure out why are they acting out of those patterns of behavior, and are those patterns at all existing within me? So when something occurs like a terrorist activity, one looks at the cause within. It's like finding a cancer within. Like, if that's over there, what perpetrated that initial, long ago, what created that hatred enough that it's come forth in such a virulent form now? Why did it start? When did those cells first begin their mutations? So I'm going to end there, but I just want to say that we have to stop violating the idea of oneness and realize that little radioactive drop in the ocean does affect our brain and nervous system. That little drop. It's connected to everything. Or that elephant being chained and tied in a zoo and beaten daily. It's creating a violent expression in the world, or a taint on all of humanity's actions. Or the millions of cattle tied up, terrified and smelling the death of their brethren. Is this not just as violent an act as terrorism? What difference is there? Is that not a form of terrorism with the animals? Or our participation in the violence of what is a strange materialistic focus on acquiring and acquiring and acquiring. So I'm going to end with just all is connected, all is one. I can't say it enough times. I can't say it to myself enough times. And I feel that Pluto hitting Saturn is the basic reason is to reveal to us the illusion of separation. To start to drop nationalism, to leave behind the Democrats, the Republicans, the money master builders behind the scenes. We reach out for the hand of our worldly brethren to hold, and to protect our precious, beloved Mother Earth and all of her creatures. And I end always with my reminder to myself, as much as to you, that we need to seek the path of angelic mercy to all of life in all of its expressions and manifestations. Here I am. I'm part of you, and you are just as much part of me. God be with you. Thank you. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for staying with me to this part of the video. Bless you.